All right, so welcome to the session today. We're going to talk about first our new Moodle template. So if you go to the website, you can click right on that link and it'll bring you into Moodle where you can have access to this new template that we have available for all of you. And when you click on it for the first time, you are going to be prompted to self-enroll into the course. And when you do that, you'll be enrolled as a student in the course. And we've set it up that way so that if you are enrolled as a student, then that way you see it the way that your students would see it, but then also it protects the template in case anyone starts going in there and editing and changing things. So as you're going through too, I've just added this this orange note at the top that says, please contact us if you want these elements merged with your existing course. So if you see something that you like or you want the entire template applied to your course, let us know, and what'll happen is Chris or Rob will go in there and it'll take all of these elements and merge them with your existing course. So you won't lose any of your existing course materials, but you might have to move some things around because you may have your course organized a little differently, and all of these elements here, they will go in exactly the same spot that you see them here. So this first section, course information, that will get merged with whatever is currently in your first section in your course. So just a little bit of reorganizing, but that's easy to do. All right, so to get started here, I'll just talk about the reason why we created this course template, and then I'll go into each of the elements and why they're important to include in your course. So this course template it's kind of like one of the first templates that we've created for Cambrian faculty. And knowing that we were going to be teaching mostly virtually, online, and with a little bit of in-class labs this fall, we figured to have a template available to all of our faculty would be something that might just help them get started in the fall, and it's just one less thing that you need to think about when you're designing your course. And this template itself has been designed to meet all of the Moodle minimum presence requirements. So there are quite a few of those, and you'll see anything here that says required. If you click on that, it'll bring you to our website where we explain all of those elements that are required as part of those minimum presence requirements. So there's some more information if you click on those. But basically, if I were to get started here at the top, we've included a template here for a Moodle header image. So I really love PowerPoint as a program for doing very simple graphic design. Actually, well, not just simple, but you can get very complex with the level of graphic design that PowerPoint offers. But I just want to show you, if I click on this PowerPoint file that's right here in this template, you can open up the PowerPoint file. It'll download to your computer, and you can open that up. And once you open it up on your computer, just click Enable Editing here at the top. And what I've done here is I've created this single slide PowerPoint template that you can now customize for your course, and I'll show you how you can do that. So just like anything else in PowerPoint, you can design this slide however you like, and you can do that by going into the Design tab here at the top. So just like you would add a theme or a design to your PowerPoint slides, you can do that to your header image as well. So I can search, I can hover over some of these, and you can kind of see a preview of what it looks like down below. Some of them look a little funky, like this one here. You know, it kind of looks a little bit stretched, so you may not want to use one like that, or you know, if you like the way that it looks, you can customize that a little bit more. But I find this green one looks pretty cool, so I'm going to click on that one. So I really like the look of this as a header image for my course. And there's different things that you can do as well to, I'm just gonna close this. There's different things that you can do to customize the colors even of your PowerPoint file here. So while you're still in the Design tab, just click the down arrow under this Variants tab here. You can hover, there's a couple color options here, so you can make it dark, you can make it light, pink, blue, anything like that. But if you click on the down arrow here, you've got a variety of color options that you can, play around with here in your course. So imagine you like, these blues are kind of really nice looking here. So you can change the colors of those. And then here, if say that you want to add an image for your course, so I can just click delete. And if I click insert online pictures, this is a really neat trick for PowerPoint. When you're adding online pictures, you can do a Bing search here. So imagine I'm teaching a chemistry course. So I'm going to type in chemistry icon, and that's like a little image that I want to add to my header. So I just press enter here. And this is what I love about PowerPoint. So when you're searching for images, there's a little checkbox here that will only search for Creative Commons only images. This is really important for us as faculty so that we're demonstrating to our students proper use of copyright images. So anything that you search for in PowerPoint, if you check that box, then you know for sure that it is a Creative Commons licensed photo, and you're free to use that in your course. And so say I want to, find an image here. Let me try to find one. This one's kind of neat. So just click insert. And the great thing too is some of them have, some of them have a white background, some of them have a transparent background. So you can sort of like play around with the sizing and however you want to do that. And then say that you want to further customize that. If you click on the image and then click on your color settings here, you can, change the colors of your image. You can add like brightness and things like that. Let me just grab one more example here. I like to go to this example. So I'm just going to grab just a black and white icon here. This might be a better example to show you. So I'll bring this one in, I'll resize it. You'll see the background's transparent on this one, so that's really nice to have. So again, I'll show you how to color correct that. So you click on the image, and then here, if you've got a transparent background, just like a black and white image, you can actually change the whole color of the image to match your theme. So I really like the look of that. And then here I can, fill in my course information. I can change the font, I can change the size, the information. That's all customizable for you. So now, say that I'm happy with this. I'm just going to save it first as a PowerPoint to my desktop. And I'll call it, that's just the PowerPoint file. And what I want to do now is I can't upload it as a PowerPoint file because it doesn't display properly on Moodle as an image. What I need to do is save it as an image file now. So I'm just going to go File, Save As, and I am going to go to my desktop again. But this time, instead of saving it as a PowerPoint presentation, I'm going to go down here and change it to a JPEG. So I'm just going to call it image this time. Save. And it's going to ask me which slides do I want to export. I only have one, so I'll just go just this one. So now that image is saved on my desktop, ready to go into Moodle. So when I go back to my course here, I'll just change it in here just to show you, but then I'll change it back. Actually, you know what? I'm going to start up. I'll bring you to another course. Let me go to my sandbox here. Just give me one sec. Right here. Okay, this is just my test page that I have. So what I'll do is I'll add an activity or resource. The way that you can add images in Moodle is you do it as a label. So anytime you want to add an image to your course, click add an activity or resource label in the list. Click add. Now here, I'm going to click in the label text. There's an option here in the toolbar for image. So I'm going to click insert image. I'm going to upload that image here, choose file. I'm going to find it on my desktop. Here it is. There's the image file. So I'm going to double click on that. click upload this file. So you'll see it's like really big here. I'll show you how to fix that in a minute. But we always should have an image description. So when you're uploading images to Moodle, always fill in this image description box, because that is what allows screen readers to read that image back to a student who relies on that type of technology. So for here, I'm just going to call it, because I don't have like a course name in there, so I'm just going to call it course name, course code, and then pencil icon. So I'll start with that. Before you click insert, this is the key here so that the image displays properly. You have to click on this appearance tab here, change your dimensions to 100%. And what that means is if a student's looking at it on their phone or if they're looking at it on a desktop computer, either way, that image will automatically resize depending on the screen size that the student is looking at. So that makes it just a nicer experience for the student. So now that I've set my dimensions, I'm going to click insert, and you'll see it shows up really nicely here, and I'm going to click save and return to course. So now what I can do, this is just my sandbox, but you can move it around wherever you like. Here's another example of one that I've created in PowerPoint right below it. And then now you've got a really nice header in your course. So if I go back to this one, if you're going to be using this template in your course, all you have to do is just click edit settings on this label here. Click on the image, right click, insert edit image. And then if you click this icon here for browse, you can choose that file on your desktop. So that's a quick way to replace that image that you see in that template. And again, this session will be recorded, so you can come back to all of these steps in the future, or reach out to us if you're having a hard time getting that image in there. All right, so we talked about the Moodle header image here at the top and how you can customize that in PowerPoint. So moving down, course information, I'll just briefly touch on some of the items that are required as part of the Moodle minimum presence requirements. A course welcome message. So often what faculty will do for that is it's just an initial introduction that you can put on your course for your students. Some people like to do that just in a paragraph format, just as it is here, just text. Some people like to add a photo of themselves. That's all optional. You can do however you want to do it. Some folks do welcome videos. So using Zoom, if you want to start a meeting by yourself and then just hit record, you can sort of talk to the camera like I am now. You can screen share if you want to walk your students through how to navigate your course. You know, you can show them an introduction lesson if you want. So there's different ways that you can record that welcome message. I do recommend, if you are going to be recording videos for your course, one of the best ways to do that is actually using Zoom. And the reason for that is because when you record to the cloud, so you've got two options in Zoom to record. You've got record to the desktop or record to the cloud. Now, if you're recording to the cloud, what it does is it saves your video, and it also, if you've got your settings set up properly in Zoom, it'll output an audio file, a transcript, like a text transcript file, and then a few other different output files. And what that is you can just send your students a link to that video through Moodle, and they can view the transcript file, they can read it. Or if they have visual impairments, then they can hear the audio file. So there's a variety of formats that they can access the same information from in different ways. So for accessibility, that is optimal for all courses if you're able to record to the cloud. Now, I won't cover that in this session about like how to I realize it's almost 12:30. So I won't cover that in the session on how to get your Zoom settings set up, because that's something we can help you with one-on-one. Just email teaching@cambridgecollege.ca and we'll help get your Zoom settings set up for all of those output files. But basically what I'm saying here is you can record your welcome message as a video or other. You can even, put a Word doc on there with your picture or with your bio and information. What else is required? The course outline. So you have two options with the course outline. You can link to it from your My Cambrian dashboard. When you click on your faculty tab, there's the course outline link right there in your tab. You can link to that file because your students will also have access to that. So they'll be able to click the link in Moodle and see that course outline. What I like to do is I like to download it as a PDF file and upload it into my course. So they click on the file, they've got the PDF file, they can save it if they like. As well, in this template, we've included a course syllabus. There's a template within a template. If you click on the course syllabus, this is a Word doc that you can fill out and put all of your weekly elements in there. So I'm just gonna, it's opened up on my other screen. I'm just gonna drag it over here. There it is. Can you see can everybody see that? The Word doc? Okay. So here, it's basically set up the way that the syllabus is set up in the academic toolbox. But basically you can fill out your units or your modules or your weeks, however you've got your course set up. And then your lessons, your activities, your assessments, and so forth. So what I really like to do in my syllabus, and this is actually one of the recommendations from the research that we've done over the summer and from best practices that we see, is including verbs in your syllabus. So things like read, watch, listen, consider, find, submit. So that really it clarifies to the students what you want them to do, because all of this are things that you want them to do. So putting verbs in there naturally is a valuable way to communicate to them. And then you've got your assignments and due dates, and then CLOs. You could put your learning outcomes here in the far column. So that's the course outline template. So that's also a required item to have in your course. And then we've got a couple videos in here that you can check out. Your contact information, of course, is required. A couple things here are optional. I know especially for those of us that teach part-time, we might not have an office number. So you might not want to put your own personal phone number in there. Totally okay. Email is perfectly fine. So as long as you've got your name and your email, those are really the two required items. Office number, I mean, we're not on campus, so you could probably ignore that. Maybe you don't have an office. That's totally okay too, optional. And then a couple of things here, how to reach the instructor outside of class. That's also a requirement. So students need to know how to get a hold of you. And then your response time. So if they send you an email, they want to know when can they expect to get a reply. For my own course, I just say, within 48 hours, and I feel like that's reasonable for me. And then how will announcements be used? Announcements are part of the minimum presence requirements. So these things up here that are automatically included in every course. For those of us who've never used Moodle announcements, they, like what I do in my course is I send out a weekly announcement, just giving them a summary of what they should be doing, upcoming due dates, reminders, tips, whatever. So anytime you add an announcement, it'll trigger an email to go out to your students. So they'll receive that as an email message. But then the other thing is they can come in here if they missed it or if they didn't get the email, they can just click on announcements in your course and they'll see the log of all of the messages that you've sent. All right, so we've covered the course template now, and we'll move on to Show Me Your Moodle. So there is a link here in our calendar. If you go back to the calendar, you can also go into Moodle. If you're in home here, just type in Show Me Your Moodle. And you'll see it shows up here in the search results. Now, we've password protected all of these courses. That password will also need to be applied to any of these courses that you click on, because these are all searchable as well within Moodle. So we had to figure out a way to lock it down slightly. So having that password protection allows us to do that. So once you get in, and again, you're going to be enrolled as a student into here. So you'll see all of the courses here. And these courses came from folks that we reached out to in the spring. So knowing again that we were continuing with virtual teaching in the fall, we wanted to provide folks with some sort of starting place again. So the template and then this, excuse me, we wanted to have these available for students or for faculty to sort of get an idea of like what else can they do in Moodle and what else other faculty are doing to set up their Moodle pages. So if you see a course that you're interested in, and if you hover, you'll see who it's from. So if there's someone in particular that you want to reach out to, if you hover over, you'll see their name and you can send them an email and say, hey, I love your course. Can you tell me how you did this, that, and whatever? But say I want to click on Mel's course here. So when I click on it, it brings me to this link here where I can view the course. So again, if I'm viewing it for the first time, it's going to prompt me for a password, use the same password to get into all of these courses. And then now I'm enrolled as a student in Mel's course. Now this isn't her live course. This is a copy of a previous delivery that she's done. Any live course that she's delivering now, we don't have access to because she's working on it. And you'll know because there's a category up here called SMYM, and that's Show Me Your Moodle. So we've literally just taken a snapshot of these courses in time and put them in here. So you'll see, you know, how other people set up their header images if they have them. Mel's got some color themes here applied to her course. So you can, you know, open up all of these. The other great thing that I love about this is, say I'm like, okay, I'm teaching a course similar to this, or, you know, I see this thing here called funding proposal. I'm like, that sounds pretty cool. I'm going to check out what that is. What did Mel do for that? So I can click on it. And, oh, she doesn't have instructions. Her instructions are back in the course here. So she's got funding proposal outline. So when we're sharing courses like this, you'll even get to see how they've set up their assignments, their grading criteria. If she's got rubrics and checklists, they're all in there as well. Ooh, I really like her design here. I don't know how she did that. See, I'm learning all the time. So you'll see here, she's got some examples and templates and things for her students. So really great stuff. You know, she's got a link here to Mentimeter, so you can see how she's using that in her course. You know, different ways that she's assigning group work and things like that. So Mel uses a lot of ed tech. So she's got Kahoot, she's got, you know, Pressbooks and all kinds of fun things in her course. So, I mean, you can spend a lifetime probably like searching through these courses. So if there's something similar to what you're teaching, we've got them all organized alphabetically here. So if you're in the health programs, you can look at the HEAs. If you're in business, there's a couple business ones up here. Math even, there's some trades ones in here, electrical. So yeah, we tried to get like a sampling from a variety of different programs and put some in there for you. All right, so now we will move on to how to design your course. And what did I call that? I called that Moodle Design. So I'm going to cover color, graphics, section colors, labels, and icons. Let me bring you to, I'm trying not to do a shameless plug, but I've done this in my course, so I think it's like an example. I'm trying to think of who else did this in their course, but there's probably quite a few people. But in case I mess something up, I'd rather mess it up on my course. Actually, it's a dev, so it doesn't really matter. I can play around in there. Okay. So in my course, I've added, you know, the header image, which we talked about. I think I used InDesign to design that, but like you can totally do it in PowerPoint. I actually prefer PowerPoint just because of it's just easy to lay things out and make it how you want it to look. In here, so here's an example of adding some text and an image. And let me just double check something here. Great. Okay. So say you want to add an image and text. We kind of covered that already, but I'll show you what I did here. So if I go into my settings, again, you'll see that I've added a table. This time I put the image here on the right. You can add some text underneath the image. It's always good to cite the source of your images. We have a license for Getty Images, so if you're ever in the market for new images for your courses, that includes photographs, illustrations, icons, any kind of graphics. If you go to gettyimages.ca, I'm going to throw that in the chat. Let me just throw that in there. So that website, if you go there and there's like hundreds of thousands of images that we can choose from. Some are not available with our license, but like the majority are. So if you see an image that you like, send me an email. Actually, we have a new graphic designer who's joined our team. His name is Brian Levac. So Brian, Levac. You can send him an email, and he's available to grab some of those graphics for you, and he'll send them to you in an email. So I created a table here, inserted an image. That's how I did it here, and this is what it looks like on the main course page. The trick here, again, is in your table settings, set the width to 100%. So that's what's going to stretch it all the way across the page and not keep it like shrinked into one section. So now we're going to cover some of these colors here. So you'll see if you go to the Show Me Your Moodle, there's quite a few courses that have different color themes set up in their course. So the way that you can set this up, and Jessica mentioned this, so she said that if you're looking at it in editing mode, it looks, weird like this. But when I switch to student mode, this is what it should look like. So the white text over the blue, and then if you hover, it goes to like a darker blue. So I've set that up in my course to look like that. Now to change those colors, I'm going to go back to my normal role here. So in the admin edit settings option for your course, this is where you can change those colors. So under this course format toggle, if you click on that, there's a variety of things you can change, and I encourage you to play around with this. I mean, this is just me because I love to like play around with settings and things like that. But if you're curious, if you don't want to blow up your current course, you can always ask for a dev shell like what I'm working in here, and play around with it till you're happy with the way that it looks, and then that can be applied to your live course. So you may not know this, but there's different ways to format your course. So you can do a grid format where it's got tiles, almost like when you're talking to people on Zoom and you see all the heads, but you can set up your units in Moodle like that, where every unit has a tile, and you can put a graphic on there, so you can make it kind of look that way. Let me just show you an example of that. Actually, I can show you what we did for orientation here. So if I switch to a student, if you've checked out orientation, this is a tile format. So then what a student can do is they'll see whatever unit it is, they can click on that unit, and then they'll get all of the materials, just like in a collapsed format where you like the standard way that it looks on a course. You can have it set up as a tile where they click and then they see all the course material show up in a list. So that's the tile format. Sorry, grid. I keep calling it tile. It's called grid. So technically what we usually see is like a grid or collapsed topics is the default when it's in there. One thing you might want to apply to your course is this hidden section. So the default here is the collapsed form. So if you're looking at your course in student mode and say that you want to, let me go back to a course that, this is my dev shell. No. Well, it doesn't matter. So in here, I've actually got, so look here, so I've got only 3 sections here in student view, and students wouldn't know if there's more or less sections than that. So it's just only showing 3. But if I go back to my normal role here, I actually have all of these other sections here in my course that I've hidden. Now, the default in Moodle is hidden sections are shown in collapsed form. So students, if you stick with that default setting, they will see that there are more modules here, but it'll just say hidden and they can't click on it and do anything. So to clean that up a little bit, like say you want them to be completely invisible, like how I have it in my course, change that setting here to say hidden sections are completely invisible, and then they wouldn't know the difference if there's more or less units once you hide them. What else? So there's other settings here if you want. Even this little icon set, I mean, this is just fun stuff that you want to do in your course. So you know how there's like an arrow, see this little arrow here? You know, you can change that to a light bulb or a moon or a smiley face, like simple things, whatever. Okay, but what I'm talking about here are colors. So the blues that you see in my course, I've changed them here. So there's a toggle background, there's a toggle background hover, and then your foreground text. So if you click on these little question marks here, it kind of gives you a hint of what it is. So sets the color of the text. Again, this one is color of the text. So the first two are text. The last two are like the background, the color of the bar. So here. So the toggle. So they call this, if I go back to my course, this blue part here, that's called the toggle. So if I close all these things are toggle. So the settings that you see here, so this lighter blue is when I'm not hovered, when I'm not hovering my mouse over top of it, and then the dark blue when I do hover. So that's what the hover comes in. Now, what we were talking about earlier is this hover opacity. I think in Moodle, you might see a 0.5 here on your course, and this is what all of us have struggled with. Just change that to a 1, and that'll solve all your problems. So all of these should say 1, 1, 1, 1, so that it's like full and there's no transparency applied to any of those colors. There's even like a section summary when collapsed. So in the Show Me Your Moodle, if you remember, if I hovered over one of them, it gave me the person's name. So I added that as a summary on my like on my section. So I'll show you what that looks like. So say you want to add a description to unit 0 or something, or unit 1 in your course. So this little icon that you see here, this little gear, if you click edit right underneath there, this is where that summary comes in. So I can type like, welcome to unit 0. In this unit, you will learn about this, that, and whatever. So you could add summaries that way. I don't have that applied in my course just because if a student opens it, they'll just see what's in there anyways, and I'm happy with that. But you can turn that on or off if you want to apply that in your course. Let me see if there's anything else to cover in here. Nothing else is really design related in here. It's sort of just other settings that you can apply in your course. So let me go back here. All right, so say that you want to change the colors in your course. I really recommend this website. So it's called coolers.co, and I'll throw that in the chat as well. This is the website that Jim was mentioning earlier. So say that you're not sure where to start, but you want to do something colorful in your course. Here, if you want to try out some different ways of generating colors, you can click here, start the generator. I love this website, by the way. I send people here all the time. So you click start the generator, and what it'll do is it'll generate a random color scheme to you. And there's always 5 colors in the color scheme. There's a bit of a walkthrough if you want to get a bit of a tutorial on how to do it. But so here's the first color scheme that it's presented to me. Say I'm like, no, don't want green and blue or red or whatever, just hit spacebar, and you can keep hitting spacebar until you're happy with the color scheme that you see. Say I get to, I don't know, here, for example, and I'm like, wow, I really like these two blues and this green, but these other two colors I'm not so fond about. What you can do is you can hover over a color, you can lock it. So I'm going to lock these three. I don't like these ones. I'm going to hit spacebar again. So now what it's doing is it's generating complementary, like fairly not complementary in like the art sense, like it's not the color wheel sense, but it's like complementary in that they go well together. So you keep hitting spacebar until you're happy with, you know, the color scheme that comes up. I don't know, maybe I'm happy with this. Or maybe I like this purple and I want to change the last color. So you can kind of just keep going, and then I can lock it if I like it. Now this, if you see these codes down here at the bottom, those are the color codes that you're going to need for Moodle. So this 36F1CD, that's called a hex code. And that's what you're going to need to put into Moodle to grab that color. It's sort of a universal color code that works across all web-based programs. So say you don't want to lose this, you're like, oh, I really like this. If you close your browser, it's gone forever. So what you want to do is you want to save it. So what you can do is just click export here at the top, and I recommend to save it. You could save it as a PDF. Usually I'll save it as an image. So I click image. I'm just going to call it course colors. And see down here where it says hex, that's what you want, because that's what Moodle understands, is these hex codes. It gives you, you know, a couple options here. Just make sure that hex is there. It's like the default setting. Click export. And what that does is it downloads this PNG file to my desktop. And when I open it up, I get this. So it saves all of my colors with all the codes. So now in Moodle, if I go back to Moodle here, I'm in my dev course. That's all right. Actually, let me go to my, oh, it doesn't matter. Okay, so in here, if I go back to, I've got turned editing on, edit settings. So now, if I want to apply one of those colors to my courses, I just need to see the code. So let's do this bright green here, 36F1CD, 36F1CD. I think that's what it was. It'll give you a little preview here. And maybe I want the hover to be 3980ED. 3980ED. So you just type it right in there, click save and display, and voila, all the colors are changed. And always good to view it as a student role, just in case. Yeah, so I mean, you want to keep in mind contrast too. So students should be able to see it. There's not enough of a contrast between the white text and the green background. The blue is okay. If I hover, I can read it pretty well. But I find this is too bright. Like a student might not be able to see that very well, especially if you're looking at it on your phone too. Sometimes colors are off. Like there's different, you know, screens that people are looking at. So if I'm going to return to my normal role here, there's a way to change that. So if I go back into my settings here, say I want to, ooh, here's a neat idea. So say I want the hover, sorry, say I want the hover text will be the light green with the background dark blue. And the regular text will be a dark blue with a light green. So let's see what that looks like. And again, this is all trial and error. That's a little bit better. So it's a little bit more contrast there. So you can see now that you can change the text color, you can change the background color here in Moodle. Here's another trick too. So let me just check. Was there a question here? Okay. So one more thing I'm going to show you is in PowerPoint. So you've got your color scheme, all set up for your course, and you want your header image to match that color scheme as well. So I'm just going to shrink PowerPoint a little bit just to show you. Actually, I think I can split screen this. Okay, so I've got my PowerPoint, I've got my color scheme. So in here in PowerPoint, what you can do is under variants, again, that's the design tab, variants. There's like a little down arrow right under there. Colors. So here, if I click customize colors, I've got all of these color options here. If you want to be like super matchy with your color scheme, and even the other benefit of doing it this way is all of your slideshows, if you've got your custom color theme saved, all of your slideshows can then match those colors as well. Let me show you what that looks like. This is like the coolest thing. I just love doing this. So when you're looking at your PowerPoint colors here, accent 1. So you want to change that to match the colors that you've chosen. So I'm going to click more colors. Oh, it's not going to give me a hex code. Okay, let me just show you really quick. If you go back to Coolers, Export, PDF. Let me just try something. Test. Export. Aha. So if you export it as a PDF from Coolers, you're going to get a few other options here. So PowerPoint uses these RGB codes. So it's red, green, blue. That's what that stands for in graphic design. So 76 red, 96 green, 133 blue. Doesn't really matter as long as you've got that code. And then your hex is right above. So you've actually got both colors ready for you. So this RGB, 76, 96, 133. So in PowerPoint, I'm going to type that in, 76, 96, 133. So what it's doing is it's matching that color exactly from Coolers. Not that much different from what PowerPoint already had in there, but it did change. And let me just do one more just to show you here. 54, 241, 205. 54, 241, 205. So see how it matched the green color. So if I click save, actually here you can rename it. So maybe you've got the name of your course there. You can put like your course code if you want. So click save. You'll see it automatically already changed it. It gets better. So if I say I want a new actual like PowerPoint presentation, so I'm just going to go blank presentation. If you go back to your design tab under colors, it saved those custom colors for you. So say you've got them all matched up with your color scheme that you chose. Anytime you pick a theme on PowerPoint, what you can do is you can select that color theme. So the first color, item 1, was that blue. But if I show you another example, I'm just going to try to find one that has like multiple colors in it. Yeah, so see, it's picking up this dark blue that I didn't actually set in the course, but you kind of get the idea, I think, here. But see, there's that green that I programmed in, there's the blue. So super cool. So you can apply this to all of your PowerPoint slides. There's all different ways that you can do with this. So then you have a really nice, like, cohesive color scheme applied throughout your whole course. But this is what I love about PowerPoint is, say you want to create an infographic for your course and you want to, apply different themes. You can add pictures. If I go back to that pencil icon. So any kind of icons that you add to your slideshows, if you do it through that, insert online pictures, then PowerPoint will recognize that now as part of your theme. So if I click on that image, I go to Format under Pictures, Color, all these colors are pulling from that custom color theme that I've created in PowerPoint. So all of your colors can match, even your icons, your graphics, everything can go nicely together. And watch how cool this is. This is just like the coolest thing. So now, you know, you can like play around with all different colors. So if I hover over all of these, you'll see it instantly changes every single color in there just based on like these, I don't know how many colors, 8 colors that are programmed in there. So this is what I just love this about PowerPoint. So those are some really neat ways that you can change some colors and really enhance the design of your course. So coming back to this, so I talked about how to add an image at the top, how to add images within all of these different elements here, and with PowerPoint too. Say you want to add some icons to your course, you know, just create, if you just go new, blank presentation, let me just pull it up over here. Say I just want some icons, some graphics that I can throw into my course. What I can do is I can just throw it right in here. If I want to put something in here, say I want that pencil icon just somewhere on my course. Here I can change the color of it. Say I want a blue pencil. Again, what you can do is just go File, Save As, and I'm just going to throw it on my desktop here. And maybe I want to call that pencil. You can save that as a JPEG, a PNG. So a PNG will give you a transparent background. So I've saved that pencil icon. I can come back to my course here, and maybe I want to add that pencil icon somewhere in my course. I'm just going to turn my editing on, and let's just say I'll add it up here. Is this my live course? No, it's my dev course. Okay. So here again, I can add a label. You can also put it on a page if you're creating Moodle pages. I'll just do it as a label for now. And what I'll do is I'll just insert that graphic here, find or upload an image. So there's that pencil icon here. And I'll give it a title. Appearance, Tracy, you were asking about this. Let's change that to 20%. Insert. So it's just this tiny little icon. Okay, so it doesn't have a transparent background, but it's in there. So you can add little graphics like that to your course. Do it as a table if you want text right beside it. Well, thank you for attending, and the session recording is available, and please reach out to teaching@cambriancollege.ca if you have any questions, design questions for your course. There are 4 of us on our hub team that are available to help you. So Brian Levac is our graphic designer. So you can reach out to him directly if you have any questions at all about graphic design, color schemes. He can help you choose color schemes, PowerPoint. He has access to all the Adobe programs as well. So if you want something even more intricately designed than what you could do in a PowerPoint, Brian can help you out with that. And then Krista Ceccolini, Allison Frotz, and myself, we are the instructional designers, so we're happy to help you with course layouts, course designs. We can help with PowerPoint design as well, and then, you know, assignment design, any kind of thing like that, design of your course. Yeah, so those are the 4 of us that you can reach out to, and please do reach out to us.